All right, welcome back. It's the end of May 2023, and the trees have been in the ground a couple of months now. And I thought it was just worth coming down and showing you how it's kind of looking at the moment. So as you can see, it's you can just about see some of the trees in here. Some of them, the grass is growing a fair amount, so it's sometimes stiff. You can see. Let's have a look at the camera. Yeah, you can see the trees here, but then you can see over there seems to be a patch without any trees. But it's generally because the trees there are shorter than the grass that's growing. Generally, we're in the bottom field at the moment with the quarry, and here we've got mostly oak, which is actually quite small. Let's see if I can find some. Yeah, over here we've got some oak. So you can see this down here is quite short compared to the grass, and I'm also tripping over some trees because they're hidden. But then you can see the sycamore and the cherry are the bigger ones. They were already larger when we planted them, so they're kind of sticking out more. So this is wild cherry here, and then the sycamore's over here. So they're generally bigger. We've got there's quite a few birch which don't seem to have grown or seem to have died already, so that's kind of disappointing. But I haven't done a big check yet, so what kind of percentage we've lost, it's hard to know. But we'll have to probably have to replace those at some point this year to maintain the density. And yeah, I'm just wandering around. So as you can see, these are the inverted mounds where the soil's bare. So there's not been much, well, so much weed growth there yet, but you can see it's creeping in around here. And you can see here actually there's some, yeah, we got some broken old pottery in this one. So yeah, because this is only very early summer now, so the grass and weeds are likely to grow more. In some places there's thistles growing in some of the, okay, you see here actually, not thistles, but we've got some well, we'd call them weeds, but obviously it's just because that's not what we want around the trees. But some plants are growing here. We've got some more dying birch here. Here's a living birch. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see it kind of coming together. And obviously at the moment it really just looks like a field with a few trees sticking out of it. So it's going to be quite a few years before you actually kind of feel like you're walking in a wood. And we can see over there again these are the cherry, which are almost a meter high already. So we got an oak group here, but it's quite hard to see, I would have thought, on the camera. There's an oak here, and then there's one here. So this is some of these, like this one here, has been planted not in a mound because we didn't have enough mounds. So that's obviously getting this competition with the grass is higher. And so you've got another one here which doesn't seem to have anything in it. So whether the trees died or, you see, even if it had died, I would have still thought we would have had you'd still be able to see it, like the dead tree. So not quite sure what's happened in there. Let's take it off. Okay, so there is something down here, but it's not growing. So these are the ones we have to replant. But it's quite hard to spot. I mean, the grass is getting to get higher than the canes now, so just yeah. So really what we're gonna have to do, which we don't really want to do, is to spray herbicides basically to kill the weeds that are growing around the trees, which is not what we really want to do. But the thing is, if we don't do it, we'll get a lot of the trees will die. They'll just be outcompeted with the, sorry, I'm just looking at stuff. But they'll be outcompeted by the grasses and other weeds. So if we don't do it, then it's going to take a lot longer for the forest to establish. And as we'd like to try and harvest some timber in our lifetimes, we need to reduce the time. So we got canopy closure. So that's kind of the dangerous point, the hardest, riskiest point in a forest creation is the sage until canopy closures. That's where each tree, the canopy between each tree basically closes. It feels like you're then in a wood, and it means a lot less light gets to the ground, and then the weeds will kind of die. Well, it's more that the fact that the trees are then above the height of the weeds and the competition is less, but also slightly because there's less light, so there's less competition with the roots. But also when the trees are bigger, the roots are going deeper, so it's kind of all together. And yeah, so that's herbicides, not ideal. But so basically what happens is they spray the herbicide around the trees. The type of herbicide does vary, there's different types, because you know, some herbicides would actually kill the tree. And here where we've got the weeds are the same height as the tree, so we've got this is dock leaves here, and so here if you sprayed this leaf, then obviously the herbicide could go onto the leaves of the trees. So in that instance you can get certain types of herbicide that only kill the weeds and wouldn't kill the trees. Whereas in other places, so higher up in the top field, the vegetation is a lot lower, just because its ground is not so fertile, it's higher up, a bit more exposure, a bit behind. But if we spray that earlier, then we could use a different type of herbicide, which has various benefits over, well, each of the herbicides has different benefits and disadvantages. So yep, right, let's carry on. What's going on over here? This one, the tree tube is not actually around the tree, so maybe I'll have a go at putting that back on, which means I probably need to stop recording potentially. Maybe you can see. So normally I would just put it over the top, but here obviously we're gonna probably damage the tree. So it's got to go round the tree and the cane. Kind of wonder whether it's necessary. The tree seems to have been fine without the guard. Hasn't been attacked by voles. Got some more pottery down here. Just a plain white piece. Right. Oh, this one doesn't look so happy. Looks like it's got some sort of, is it mildew maybe? Hopefully I'm not going to embarrass myself by getting some of these terminology wrong. I've got a wet patch in here. It's amazing how it's changed. So here we decided not to plant any, although the mounds are here, because it's so wet, we decided to leave it. So we should hopefully get a different kind of vegetation in here. So this is more about biodiversity. It's a bit too wet. Yeah, it's just about increasing the biodiversity in the forest. So we hopefully end up here with a bit of a glade in the forest. So light coming down, gap in the canopy. So better for just to increase the biodiversity really. Just actually the vole guard here is not in the ground, so which is kind of pointless, because otherwise the voles will just go underneath. But as the ground's quite hard now, it's hard to push it in. Quite a few of the trees are like leaning as they're coming out of the ground. So if you can see over here, like this cherry over here is leaning. And I'm kind of interested to know how that's going to affect the tree. So if we came back and looked at that tree in 5 years' time, is it going to be like, it's going to grow like this to start with, and then it will grow straight, which means it's not, the form of the tree isn't very good. Whereas if it came straight out of the ground when it was young and keep going straight, then the whole trunk is straight, which is the ideal thing for timber. So I'm wondering if that's something we should worry about. Should we be like trying to straighten the tree now to make sure it grows straight, or will that kind of, will it actually not really matter, because at this stage it's still quite small, and as it grows it will straighten out? I'm not so sure. In a way it'd be much better if they just were straight to start with, and then you're not thinking about that. And it's partly because it might be difficult to tell on this camera, but it's not been planted straight, so it's that the tree tube and the cane is like at an angle, and therefore the tree's at an angle, and then it gets to this point and then this will start growing straight here, but obviously the first meter is kind of leaning. So I'm going to try and straighten this out. It was much easier when the trees had just been planted. There's quite a lot of slugs growing down here, but obviously as now the ground's quite hard, it's much harder to like really make a difference. So I haven't really made any difference to that. I think if I put the stake on this side maybe. Okay, so now let's look at it here now. Try not to trip over any of the trees. So it's much straighter now. So hopefully that makes a difference. But it's quite a lot of work to obviously go around and do that. Alright, I think that will do for this video. Yeah, it's been good to come, and I haven't actually been myself for a month, so it's been busy. So it's good to kind of see everything in leaf, check out what the work needs doing, and yeah, show you around and see what's been happening. Oh, sorry, noise in the woods. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying following along, and I'll see you in the next video.